Hi there, I'm Rob Fitz. This is the Effects Crate tutorial. This month's crate is the Puncture crate, which you're using a skin-tight wound kit that is part A and part B of silicone material that you can actually do way more than just punctures. You can do lacerations, you can do road rash, you can do burns, all kinds of different wounds with. And I will demonstrate all of those wounds, bullet holes, everything. So you have your part A and B, your silicone. You've got this Thivex thickener, which when your silicone is curing, you add this to it and it will thicken it and make it more viscous so you can sculpt it better on the skin. And then you have the silk pigments, brown, black, blood-colored, and flesh tone. You also get this fake broken glass that you can tear up and make little shards of glass, and these little cups for mixing. Last month's crate, you had this palette and palette spatula we're going to use to mix this stuff, plus some tongue depressors to help mix things, and I have a few things like blood and some makeup just to help the process along. We'll start off by taking the part A, the skin tight. You're going to put some in the cup, decent amount, something like that. You're going to add a little bit of your silicone pigment to it. Keep in mind, you don't need a lot. I mean, you really just need to get a little bit of this pigment on the end of your spatula. Even that's like too much. You need very little. And then you mix it up just to give it a tone. Say you want it to be a little darker, you could add a tiny smidge of brown. You don't want to go crazy. Now that's just the part A. You have to add an equal amount of part B. When you mix in a part A and part B of any material, always have some tissue so you can wipe off your knife. You don't want to mix them together until you want to mix them together. So always clean the knife before you mess around with the B. So you got this much of your A. So you have about 50, about 1-to-1 ratio. And now you add those two and you're gonna mix them together. Now you wanna mix them together. Now you have about 3 minutes to work with this stuff. So you mix it up really well. So what I'm going to do is actually I look at it and it looks very pale. So I'm going to take a tiny bit of the red. I mean, just that, like literally that, a little tad, right? You know, a little bit more, but not much more than that. Barely any at all. And that's going to change the whole tone, just that little bit. Little goes a long way. It's got like, sort of like a, it's like melted marshmallow consistency right now. If you want to make it thicker, you're going to add a drop or two of the Thivex. This is the silicone thickening agent. A couple drops of that in there, mix it up really good. So you can already see there's a little change to the tone. And you can look at his skin and compare it. So 3 minutes to start curing. You have about 5 minutes to get it on. You'll see that the silicone is getting nice and thick, has a much better consistency now after about 2 or 3 minutes. Now, what you can do is you can start utilizing it on, you can apply it directly to the person's face, use your spatula and just kind of spatula it on and create the effect you want to create. You can make it nice and smooth and then gorify it after. I'll throw a little on there. I'll put a little, since it is a puncture crate, we'll put a hole in your head as well. And then we'll do some heavy lacerations. So what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of laying down a foundation of material that I can mess with very shortly. And I'm just kind of flattening out the edges so it blends into the skin well. I'm using up all the material I can so we can three-dimensionally mess up poor Paul's face. So I'll dig a little hole in his forehead here. And you know, when you're doing this, the silicone, it's nice and thick, but if you do it too early, it's not thick enough to really hold well. So it's going to start to kind of flow into where you're sculpting it, and you don't want that, you know, because it's still in the process of curing. You gotta find it right at the sweet spot, you know. So you see, we just cut a nice gash in his cheek. Now we mess it all up. Look like you got smashed in the face.
Awesome.
Maybe a car accident or something. So you can really see how the silicone is gelling up and becoming cured, because you can grab it and pull it up, pull the edges up. Yeah, and sometimes you don't want to have this to be too smooth. So before it totally gets cured, you go in there and break it up. It has good elasticity too. And then you're gonna chunk hanging off the nose, as flesh does. You can go in there with a little bit of dark makeup, start making up, create depth in the hole. You can make this as thick as you want too. This is looks like a shallow hole on this one, and you can easily see how you can create burns with this too. And we'll throw in a little bit of darkness in here too. And this is just throwing normal makeup in it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The cool thing about this is you can really, once you lay down your silicone, you can really distress it a lot by just hitting it with the edge of your brush, you know, and pulling it away. It's still really sticky. I always like to take a little extra makeup and create some, you know, bruising and swelling of the wounds. Create some realism there. Well, as you're messing around, you can grab your little plate of glass there and rip it up. Use these as little, because your silicone's still sticky, you can just press it into the guy's face. And there's chunks of glass coming out of his face now. Take the pointy ends and have them sticking out towards you. They look nastier. Yeah, and I didn't even use that much silicone too, so you guys have a lot of time to practice this. Here's the other thing. You can take this stuff and really just pulverize it. Right? Tilt your head back. And get the gritty glass. All the stuff stuck in there. Take it in your fingers, and because like in car accidents, you know, there's all that little granular nasty pieces of glass sticking out too, not just giant pieces. And then you can go in here with a little bit of blood. I always like to get one of these little, containers for my blood. That way, you have a little control. You can just do a little drips at a time. There. You can actually have a little coming out the nose. You want to get right up in the nose for realism. And to torture Paul, it's fun. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Now, when you're doing trauma like this, keep in mind, this seems like a lot of blood, but in a real life situation, if someone was this cut up, it would be everywhere. Like, you get a little cut on your head, there's blood everywhere. Your head bleeds like a sieve. So you guys that have medical experience or EMT experience all know that. So this is some alcohol makeup. I don't expect you guys to have this on you, but if you aspire, you put a little 99% alcohol in these palettes, and these are a wonder. And it'll stay all night. And it works really well on the silicone. Close your eyes, Paul. Yeah, if you get yourself a little chip brush like this and you cut it at an angle, it actually works really nice. A nice bullet hole in the center there. Some mangled face. There. This stuff is really terrific, and there's many applications you can use for wounding and horrifically mutilating people. So just practice with it, and you should have plenty. That will last you a long time, what you got in the kit, and you'll be able to get a lot of practice in, play with it, and try different things. And go on the FX Crate website, or they send you pictures of all their stuff.
Yeah, you can do that right on our Facebook page or Instagram. Tag us.
Yeah, tag the pictures you of your work that you create, and we'd love to see what you do with it. It's very versatile.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you.